how I went from the nerd to the school jock. Okay, so this is a very sad story that gives a big explanation to not only my life, to a certain reputation that I built for myself. So here's how it happened. So when I was younger, I had habits of not thinking that even people exist. I didn't care if girls existed, and quite frankly, I thought that girls had cooties, not because I was literally a nerd like that, was simply because I was obsessed with anime. I was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z, to the whole point where I didn't want to get to know people. I never liked people, but all of a sudden I was interested in people as soon as I got into junior high. As soon as I started seeing people making jokes, as soon as I started hearing people literally getting along, being intellectual, and it kind of blew my mind that this is where I was deprived from the entire time. So when the whole time I was in junior high, I felt like I was missing out on so much because I was the only one in the group that couldn't make a joke. I was the only one in the group that couldn't get a girl. Everybody's going around being able to do everything that I can, and I'm still stuck with my anime life and my Dragon Ball Z life, and literally just sitting on my computer all day where everybody's talking and reminiscing and having fun. And literally, I'm considering this, I'm like, dude, I missed out on a lot. I stayed in my room the entire time, and I literally didn't go out acting. And it was even more bad because all of my brothers were in sports. My mom kept on trying to tell me to play sports. She even took me into Boy Scouts of America to try to get me outside the TV life, literally. Stop watching SpongeBob and get to know the world, literally. She would take me to psychiatry, literally. This guy needs a social life. He shouldn't be like this. Everybody else is socializing at a young age and they're all making friends, and he's sitting over here doing the same thing. When they're gonna start capping, he's not gonna know what to do, literally. So they started capping. I didn't know what to do. I had social duds, and then I resorted to do stupid shit for entertainment. Like literally doing outlandish shit to get attention because I just could not fit in wherever I go. I was just a nerd, and literally I could do nothing about my social standing. And it really got to a point where I lost some of the friends from Boy Scouts, some of the friends literally growing up, and literally every single thing that I did was a big reminder that, yo, you fucked up your own life by not going out, by not getting to know the world where everybody else did. So like everybody was basically training for community college at a young age. Everybody was collecting money, saving money at a young age. Everybody was doing everything that you thought was stupid, that you didn't know held great at a young age. Everybody had a head start, and you just now realize what life is. Realize what life is, where everybody was out having fun. You stayed in your head, and that's why you're selfish, literally. So many people told me you're selfish, you can't understand the situation. You literally are trying to force yourself where everybody already made the mistakes that you made when you were young. There's no way that you can go in high school without a pair of Jordans, and you're sitting over here with Tommy Hilfigers and literally Levi's and stuff like that. They all know you get your shit from the discount store, and everybody's around with Jordans and $20 shirts and Zoomies and shit. $20 shirts from Zoomies and shit. And literally, it was so fucking crazy. It was so bad for me that literally it was so outrageous. Oh, you're wearing those type of shoes? We made that shit when you we made those mistakes when we were younger. There's no way you can survive in high school without a pair of Jordans, without literally expensive backpack, even literally, and all your clothes don't match. Oh, you wear a collared shirt for baggy jeans. That defeats the whole purpose. If you got to have something, have it do it right. You're gonna have to have Levi jeans that cost $20 at least, a pair of Jordans, a pair of colorful Vans, literally, with everything that's matching, literally, all that shit leading up to high school. And literally, my mom's telling me, stop trying to fit in. Just literally, just work on yourself. Like, I'm tired. Like, I tried to tell you, it's too late now, but you can still make it as a nerd. And literally, I could not make it as a nerd. I couldn't make it as anything. I even tried to play sports, and literally, my mom gave me the woke up. Oh, you didn't play sports when you were young. You just now tried to play sports when you were a teenager. They all been playing since they were in 4th grade. Come on, man. You need to stop acting brand new and just accept where you're at in society. It really, really fucking sucked. They picked on me like I was the wimpy pig. they picked on me like I was the wimpy kid, but in actuality, I was literally strong. I was very, very strong, but it didn't matter how strong I was on paper. If I can beat you in a fight, but I can't beat you in a social interaction, you're gonna have the edge in life. Because they consider that a barbarian in this society. I'm sorry, that's true. If they talk shit and you're not able to keep your calm and you're not able to talk shit back, they will point the finger at you in an instant. It got to a point where I tried to tell people, literally, hey, this guy's picking on me. And they literally picked their side because they were the more likable person. I'm sorry, but it's a cruel world. People will go against their job due to biasism, and people do that at a young age. And that's what you call a connection. You can't snitch on every fucking person in the world, so that's why they'll always get away with it. But then they have to deal with karma, then they have to deal with God, then they'll have to deal with this and that. But that's later on down the line. That shit gives them a big edge in public school. Having connections on top of connections on top of connections that they've been making ever since they're young. And some people even have family that introduced them to other people when they were young. And it really, really fucking sucked because I was a nerd throughout the entire life through high school. So this is where it kicks in. Okay, so I learned game at the end of my 8th grade year when I started dominating people instead of territory. I started proving people wrong, but it didn't matter because they already had a very solid social standing. So it didn't matter how much I dominated them. It didn't matter if I beat this guy in a certain competition. And then it all came down to a girl named Jaylene. And this is when I truly learned game. This is when I learned that there was no such thing as game and where all that socializing was a lie. And literally, that's when I learned that you do have to practice in order to see how people work, but it's for the wrong reasons. I learned that most of these people get their way through a lie. It's a lie that's entertaining. It's a lie that's very entertaining that they literally practice a lot of time, and literally they think of a backup plan. So in case you call them out, they have a clever comeback, but they don't have a clever comeback to life. Their whole thing is making sure that the lie never breaks through, but it will break through later on in the future because of how much they layer the lie through their friends and through their logic. But the one thing that they're failing to realize is this is why Mother Nature exists, and this is why the school nerd does not make it unless he adapts. You know what most nerds do? Most nerds learn karate. Most nerds learn a trait that's gonna help them universally, so it doesn't matter what people say. But then I learned that you have to have swag. You have to learn how to get along with people. You have to learn how to make jokes back. You have to learn how to fit in. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. Nobody, I realize this in the future, is gonna accept you for who you are when you're full of shit. So this thing with Jaylene, I earned this Asian girl when I was in junior high from me being a nice person, me literally being people at their own game. And it didn't matter because they still had more numbers, even though I had more development. It doesn't matter in this world. Because even though I couldn't make jokes on the spot, I made jokes when I had the most ammo. Whenever I put myself in a situation where I bulldoze my way through their words, when I hung around them enough to see what their flaws were, is when I was able to cap on them. But I couldn't do it on spot. But I had to do some work, and literally society called that harassment. Society literally took their side every single time. Oh, we told you not to hang out with them. You're trying too hard to fit in. It didn't matter if you said the right thing at the end. So there was this one time where I had a friend I knew ever since elementary, and what happened is he betrayed me ever since I went into junior high. And then when I went into junior high, I realized that him and all his friends were sexually harassing Jaylene, and I was put in special ed. But I was a smart kid that was put in special ed. I was put in there for anger issues, not my actual learning capability. And it really, really fucking sucked because I couldn't socialize, I couldn't make jokes for shit, so they classified me with autism, and literally, but I have moments, I had cameos of greatness, but I didn't follow through because I had non-consistent. They had consistent interactions with their friends, and I had anything but consistency. I had development with myself, and Jaylene noticed that, but she kept on getting sexually harassed by those guys literally off screen, and then they would cap on me whenever they were on screen as a distraction, literally trying to tell me how they did this and that, and literally, so literally they annoyed the fuck out of Jaylene to a point where she could not go out with me even though she really wanted to. And that's when I realized that people were full of shit. All those jokes, all that shit was not getting them what they wanted, but it was working for me because I was a special ed. Even though I was the nerdiest one, I was wearing Napoleon Dynamite pants that you could put the pins in, that you could do anything to me because I didn't know about the world. You could literally talk shit to me and get away with it because I'll fight you and then I'll be the one literally in trouble because of how the world works. All this biased opinion, all this game is bullshit because all that jokes is not more than a distraction for who they are as a person. The jokes didn't save them when shit got real. So literally, here's what happened. I literally stayed in the same position over and over and over again. No matter how much I improved my wardrobe to every year. So literally, after junior high, I went into high school and I literally went through a phase where I was backed on all the girls freshman year, and there was this one girl that these people kept me away from again. So this girl's name was Arma. So Arma was a very hot girl who everybody liked, literally, and she was on the very first thing. And I was known in high school for being one of the best dancers. I could socialize, I could make jokes, I could do everything I could in junior high. My mom said I needed to train ever since I was younger. When I adapted in 1 year, because that 1 year I didn't waste time and I put in the work, but I didn't play sports. And I wasn't paying attention to politics. He's like, you only have 4 years and then you're up, and then you have to learn how to live on your own. Literally is what, even though you're allowed to live in your parents' house, you have to train to live on your own ever since you become 18, is what society kept on telling me. These people are preparing for their lives, and you just now learn how to socialize. Buddy, we're not gonna cut you no slack. And so literally, that's literally what happened to me throughout the entire high school. So Arma was on me. Even nothing could stop me from thinking that she liked me more than anyone else. This guy touched her boob in front of me, and I literally knew automatically it was to make me jealous, and I knew that she wanted to fuck me. And literally, it was before football practice, and I was pancaking with Arma before practice. Literally, it was so fucking crazy. I had Arma in the bag, but it all came back to my mom's bullshit philosophy that you need to get to know someone. So this girl drove me to the side and she said, Arma and Angel are going out. I'm like, I changed the subject, and literally, so I knew what was going on subconsciously. Okay, but my mind says like, there's nothing I can do about it. As soon as they break up, I know I have Arma. Literally, I knew that every single time. I literally made sure that I was prominent, and the reason why she said Arma and Angel were going out is because they all knew each other since they were in first grade. So what they did was they cockblocked me from Arma, but their excuse was, you can't socialize with my friend because we knew him since you were younger. It doesn't matter if she gave you consent to have sex. We are here to defend her. So literally, they had me play by the rule book even though she already gave me a cheat code. And then Arma moved ever since freshman year. I never saw her ever since then. And literally, it was so fucking tragic because I didn't realize until I was older that they were literally doing that whole family protective shit over her. Literally, oh, you can't hit on her. You can't automatically get with her. We've known this since we were in first grade. And they knew that guy was only doing that to prove a point. But they knew that guy wasn't getting anything. They knew I was going to get something if I would have kept going. And literally, that was so fucking crazy because I learned when I was older, there's no such thing as game. It's all about conquering territory. It's all about connections. It's all about this and that. So literally, all throughout the whole high school, I was suffering from not getting a girlfriend. I was rejected by every single girl after then, where I literally had that in the bag. Notice how both of those situations, I had both of the girls in the bag where I was destroyed by my surroundings. If you have no connections, you can't survive in this world. If you want to get hot girls like that, literally, it was so fucking terrifying. It got to a point where everybody told me, grow up, toughen up. It's a tough road out there. Mommy's not gonna breastfeed you, man. We don't care how hard you have it. Think of a way to make it through. Sorry, you gotta adapt. So when I get into community college, everybody is burying me up saying that it's gonna be all better, that people are even more understanding since they were in high school, since there's no peer pressure, and they were wrong entirely. I still dealt with the same childish games because there was this girl named Marjorie that literally led me on, that said all this shit, oh, you're so naughty, literally, and then he pulls back and I get serious and said we were just friends. Every single time, tearing my heart apart, literally, I was not what I wanted to be, and literally, at the time what I wanted the most, I didn't get it. And literally, so Marjorie played games even though they told me, yo, that's what you mean, man. All you had to do was play it cool. She gave you a choice. You know, all you had to do is wait for her to open up. And literally, it didn't matter. It wasn't her, it was me. I needed more game. It didn't matter what the fuck I was doing. It didn't matter if I got my career in check. I realized that you have to learn swag. You have to learn how women work. You need to learn how people work, and you can't make excuses for yourself. So I dumbed it down. I admitted I was a piece of shit. But before that ever happened, there was this guy named Andy. When I first got to community college, that wasn't pulling no bitches, but that was perfectly happy. But Andy was a tall white kid that was stuck to his studies. And so I was able to vent to Andy whenever I needed to. I was able to hang out with Andy whenever I needed to. And literally, so the devil is literally talking to me like, yeah, and you claim you have no friends. You always have Andy to talk to. And I had choosing signal after choosing signal in college, but I had no fucking action. And so you literally have to learn, as I got older, you have to control your relationships with women. You can't let women say no. No, that's not fucking rape. That's what you're supposed to do as a man. You're supposed to literally say when instead of will when it's dealing with women, because if you know when women stand up to you, when they ask you stupid questions, you're supposed to reply in a funny way, because that's how you pass the skip test. It's not the fact that she tries to get over you. You have to prove to her that you are above her competition. So everybody else that falls for her games, you don't fall for it. And literally, the main message behind this is you have to control where the relationships goes. If not, you can leave. You don't do it by force. You do it by saying, I'm not going to play your mind games. I'm hot, and I know you know I'm sexy, so I am going to hold you accountable for your actions. I'm not gonna accept you saying that I'm naughty without you fucking me. I'm sorry. You need to call them out when they do bullshit like that. You can't tolerate bullshit from women. Don't force anything on women. Don't force anything on girls. This is literally what you have to learn. You have to be in control. Do not let them leave. When they say let them come to you, that is the worst thing you can ever do. That you are their bitch and they have you on a leash. Whenever that happens. That literally happens every single fucking time. You have to leave them on a leash. You have to let them know that you're in control, and that if you want to give me attitude, there goes the door. That's how you deal with women. Now, that is game, but what people are trying to tell you when they're trying to tell you to be smooth, to be this and that, and pretend to be something you're not until you get what you want, is people who never get what they want and only come close to getting what they want until people realize that they're fake. And that's where I realized there's no such thing as game. So I dropped out of community college because I wasn't getting gay pussy, and I literally go through all this torment of junior high and high school, not even getting a girlfriend, to automatically getting laid at the age of 21. So I literally end up on the streets struggling. I lost my virginity, and now I'm stuck with life, and now everybody else is filled with greatness. Everybody's telling me, ah ha ha, there's so much more to life than sex. That's why we have all our college degrees and we have these jobs. Ha ha ha, if you were socialized when you were young, you would have already had sex. Ha ha ha, you would have learned the importance of money more than sex. Ha 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 ha. So this is when I become a school jock. So I stopped caring about people. I stopped caring about women because I realized they were full of shit. Because when I needed them the most when I was homeless, I didn't have none of that. But when I was a dancing monkey, I sure had plenty of people validating me, but didn't do shit for me. Because literally, it wasn't the fact that I was a nerd. It was the fact that because I have the mindset to win is why they didn't give me any tools. I know what it takes to win, and that's why they don't give me what the fuck I want. They don't give me the same opportunity as those other losers because they lose their opportunity because of their damn ego. And I don't, because I literally clutch onto life like it's the last thing I have. So I become the school jock after I stop putting pussy on a pedestal. When I finally get my first job, when I finally learn game, when I finally learn woman, is when I finally learn that you have to cheat to win. At times, but you have to cheat when you have a foundation of good. You have to cheat for a right reason. Like, you have to cheat on a girl so C will not fuck you over. You have to cheat because C's keeping her options open. So why can't you? C obviously has a whole bunch of guys drooling over her, and you can't be one of those guys. You have to literally, if C dumps you, you have to have a backup plan. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the anti-cheating. The exact opposite of cheating. So you won't fall for her manipulation. She can laugh all she wants on a date, but when you ask her to get serious and she doesn't get serious, you got played. And on her phone, there's a whole bunch of people who are doing the same thing, who are literally texting her, doing all this shit that you're doing, making her laugh, but aren't getting to the point. I become the school jock after I get my first job, and when I start working with a whole bunch of girls that are in their prime, where I didn't get known when I was in high school, and so literally, I'm in the shell of somebody who didn't get anything, who everybody picked on in high school, saying that you're the fucking anime nerd, you're the fucking loser. You think that people work like how anime characters do in fucking society. No. We don't do that dramatic shit. We get them in an intellectual way. This is why you always try to make girls poems. This is why you always try to give them candy. This is why you always try to give them flowers when you're supposed to just be cool with them and treat them like a guy. Okay, that's only partially true. And why I learned the long run, you only treat them like a guy for your own safety. Because if you mac on every single girl, you're gonna have a bad reputation, whether you get them or not. You're gonna end up getting into a whole lot of necessary drama when you gag girls the right way, because a whole bunch of guys are getting them the wrong way, acting like they're men, and getting into conversations that you only will get into with guys. And so the main problem with this was I got really in a whole bunch of shit dealing with these girls that are at my job, literally sneaking in my house and shit, causing trouble at my work, having the other guys trying to get me fired. After I finally learned fucking game throughout this entire fucking years, these are people who had girlfriends, by the way, that were jealous of the games that I had at my job because of the way I literally took charge of the situation. So literally, I had to pretend to not like girls in order to be at my job. I had to pretend that I like cartoons for the girls, which I do, and I always will, because I thought they had cooties until I finally got with them. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But there's still a whole life. There was literally, it got down to a point where I was literally at Starbucks, and there was a whole bunch of women that were looking at me, giving me choosing signals, literally giving me the eye, like fat asses and everything. And I'm just sitting over here working on my anime, working on my AMVs, working on literally nerd shit. And they're wondering why I don't get them. Is because I already learned how female nature works, and because I didn't validate them is why they kept on chasing me. And then literally, they only come to you when they know there's a real prize involved, when they know you have value. They don't chase you when they know you're not worth anything. Once you have high status, of course they're gonna chase you. So I go throughout this whole fucking grade school not getting a single girl, and now all of a sudden I'm praised as a school jock. And then I was hit with society when they tried to tell me, okay, you finally got a girl, so literally life goes on, and you still don't have a college degree, and you're barely getting any money, and all your friends have cars, and all your friends have this and that, all your friends play sports, and all your friends like sports, and you're still autistic, so it doesn't matter as what society told me. But the situation kept on saying different. Girls kept on following me, people kept on chasing me, guys kept on trying to bring me down. After I finally became a school jock, at the time when it didn't matter, they even started to give me code names like, hey Greyhound, hey General Sal, because his outfit wears pink. Pink for pussy, right? Ha 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 ha. Now you're finally getting into anime. We used to make fun of it in high school. All this shit piled up, and literally, at the time, why I didn't care. Oh, why won't you call me that shit in high school? This and that. That was my mindset throughout the time. These people actually think this shit is gonna work. Like, hey, buddy, what's going on, man? Why you talking to me all of a sudden? Are you trying to literally lure me to a party so I dance with the wrong girl so you can find me for sexual assault? That's what happened in my school jock phase. Okay, so fast forward a little bit, where literally I stopped fucking with the girls at my job, and literally society literally keeps on shoving this shit down my throat like, yo, you still ain't shit. It doesn't matter if you can get bitches now, you still don't have a job, you still have this and that, because I had to quit my last job because it was getting too chaotic. Society kept on making fun of me, and then I went to this convention where I was able to pull every single girl's ass. Literally, I went to this cosplay convention, and literally I became famous for literally doing everything that I could do in high school, literally getting known for being the biggest player on the street. And I'm all like, dude, I'm just having fun. You know how many girls that wanted me to gorilla them on the streets and I didn't do? So basically, I went to a convention and I blew up as the school jock officially, because I knew I could get any girl I wanted to at that time. But there was a lot of things that was holding me back from getting cocky. One, I was a father. Two, I was at a group home, so they can call me a school jock all I want. I still have a reminder that I fucked up when I got home. Me getting a whole bunch of girls at the convention did not save me from knowing that I fucked up, and knowing that I was in a group home, and knowing that I should have graduated college, because I just got a job in society and scolded me, oh, at this stage you should have work and school. All these guys that literally have that shit were praising me, and I was jealous of them because I was an intellectual, especially at this time where I didn't care about women at all. Literally, it was a tremendous feat, yes, but you know what I truly cared about? I truly cared about shining in this league called the Animation Rap League. Yes, those girls did outgrade that, but what I really wanted is because life came on and because I couldn't fuck those girls all the time, is why I constantly had a reminder, oh, I'm still in a group home, oh, I'm still not making money, or I'm still not doing this and that. That literally pissed me off. Literally, I have a kid that I'm not taking care of. All that shit was reminding me while I'm still fucking up. So it didn't matter how many women I pulled. Life kept on smacking me with so much shit that was more important. And that's why I never got cocky. And that's why I was always humble. But literally, so here's the thing. So I text Andy after all this time at the group home, when one time I texted him at 5 o'clock in the morning, like how I used to when I was a virgin. It was once out of a million, and literally I'm like, Andy, I'm going through this and that, and I'm still not going to school. And so literally, automatically this girl named Ray posted on her Instagram trying to call me a baby and stuff, and I love Ray. Ray is hella cool. Ray, R-A-E, and the reason why she did that is literally, I realized in the future it was for a good reason. Don't think it was for a bad reason, because before, here's what Ray did. Ray literally, after I posted a video on Instagram where I tried to call out my mom saying, Mom, they're fucking in front of me. Why can't I get no play in high school? Why can't I fucking a girl in high school? They're always making out in front of me. They're always gorillaing girls in front of me. They're grabbing their asses. I'm stuck with no girlfriend. I'm just an anime nerd. Literally crying to my mom, and literally she's trying to dumb it down, saying that that's not really how it is. I'm like, Mom, they're dry humping in front of my face. How can it not be that way? And so Ray, being a popular girl when she was in high school, she posting on her Instagram, she's both good and bad. And that's why I love Ray, because Ray literally gave me the formula, telling me that it's not your fault. Yes, girls are somewhat evil, but they're evil for a reason, because they make men become men. They make men stand up to challenges. They make men become stronger, because you can't really get a girl unless you truly change as a person. Because every single girl that has a wannabe gangster boyfriend will always tell them you can't stay the same. And so literally, she told me that they're both good and bad. So I love Ray to the fullest, because she literally kept it real, even though she felt sorry for me, because she knows what I was going through, and she knew that my mom was lying, but what she told me was really real, and that's why I became strong. And I met Ray literally at one of those conventions where I got famous for being the top class guy at those conventions. And literally, Ray was so real with me, because Ray was on my jock, but she admitted to me, and I felt like that also what made her trust me more, is that I admitted that I was wrong when I was in high school, and people were praising me for something that I wanted when I was in high school. Now it no longer matters. Now it doesn't have any meaning. You can't flex getting a girl in this society when everybody's making out in high school, and I still didn't have one, and now it's fucking crazy. So society kept on praising me as a school jock because of all the girls I got through cosplay, and that's where they fucked up. They didn't watch anime, they didn't do it this and that, they just thought that they were hot girls. And literally, nowadays I'm getting stalked by wannabe gangsters, wannabe nerds that are resorting to do nothing. And I realize you can't be a gangster and you can't be a nerd. You have to be in the middle. You have to be able to read people, because people will abuse their position of power if you let them. If you don't do the research, you will get fucked over in life. If you don't learn how people work, like a fat girl offered me a coupon at Spencer's. Sorry, that's how the world works. She wasn't supposed to do that, but did she do it anyway? Yes, she did that. You have to fake it till you make it to a certain extent, but also have loads of shit to fall back on. That's how you live life. You can't really say that you don't have to have game, like how you don't have to manipulate a little bit, but you manipulate people who are doing wrong anyway. So that's how the world works. And I've made this saying as I got older, I'm full of shit, but so are you. You're 10 times more full of shit than me. I have to be full of shit to survive. So in conclusion, for a short summary, I became the school jock by literally sticking with my nerd stuff, and literally because girls weren't there where I needed them the most when something important happened, and they were only there basically for entertainment, and literally because I kept on having the reminder of what was important in life is the real reason why I didn't care about being the school jock at the age of 21 to 25 when I couldn't get a whole girls throughout grade school. And once I realized how full of shit people are, I didn't care about being the most popular guy in school anymore. Now I am, for the wrong reason. Now people are praising me like they should have praised me when I was in high school, but it doesn't matter anymore. it's all down the drain. And now I realized that it was all kitchen. And still people are shoving this popularity shit down my throat. Hey, Eros, you did this crazy thing. You did that crazy thing. It all happened at a time where it doesn't matter. Of course, when you're surrounded by a bunch of people that you see every day, it's going to matter a lot. But I barely see these people. These people go in and out. And literally, even when I was working with these people every day, once I realized the truth about how you get those things, I'm like, nah, I'm good. But anyway, that's how I became the school jock after being the school nerd for 10 years on end, and finally getting a relief for society just to say women ain't shit. And literally being proven wrong in every social interaction where tryhards that are still virgins fail to get the woman that I can get with ease.